Hi. I don't know, I kind of sound like that now. It's Janine again. If you saw my previous video, I was talking about cardstock and storage of the cardstock, and yes, I'm still in my pyjamas, that's how I roll. So if you see glimpses of older Daffy, no, not Daffy, who's this? Oh, Daisy, sorry. Yeah, sorry about that. I said that I was going to do a walkthrough of my art journals. Now, I'm not an expert, obviously, and this is the very first one that I had. I do have some tips for you though, because I've learned the hard way on art journaling. I had this, just a regular writing journal, and I thought, right, I'm not a big writer, like I struggle to write things down, like how to, you know, get words out of me. So I decided that art journaling was a good way to get my emotional stuff out in art form. So that's what it is for me. It's kind of like therapy for me. So I started with this book. I thought, well, I've got it, I may as well use it, right? Yeah, this happened after a few pages. Now, I've since learnt that this bit, I will show you the pages in a minute, this bit here, this is a glue bound book. This whole section here, this, let me see if I can get in closer, this is all glue right the way down the spine. That's why it fell apart when there was moisture near it. So not great. So then I switched to a spiral bound, just a watercolour pad. That's all this is. And that was a lot better, because obviously being a watercolour, it's made for water, that you can, you know, do a lot of stuff with it. You still maybe need to be a little careful, because the pages can kind of get a bit messed up on the sides when there's too much water, but because I do go a bit muggy with it. But that was a lot better. And then she says, and then I learned about signatures. Can you believe it? And so I bought, this is essentially a sketchbook, this one, but I also, I thought I'll just put some gesso, I'll explain that in another video, but I'll just put some gesso on the page, and then that way when I'm using it, it should be okay, because the paper is kind of like this journal, but actually probably a bit better. And what a signature is when you make a book, the old-fashioned style. I don't know if this is going to pick it up. I'm a bit short, so I can't see. But you see here, there's like, hopefully you can see there's like a stitch. It's actual cotton that's been stitched. So basically you stitch a bunch of pages together and you create a signature. I can't show it on the side there. You create a signature, and then what you do is you put all the signatures together and they get sewn together, and that's what creates the spine of the book, and then you put the cover on. In the same sort of sense, that you've got a spine here, but this is all glue. Don't bother with a glue bound one. This will happen. Yay! So this has been much better, and I actually did a video on this page at the weekend, so if you go and check out my YouTube channel, Janine Leader Inc., it's on there, and you know, it's just a start to finish kind of page, so it is sped up, but I thought it was kind of cool. So that's my new love. So I'm just going to do a little walkthrough. I'm gonna zoom you in. Let's see if I can get this right. Now bear in mind, I had no clue. Zoom. I had no clue what I was actually doing with any of this. I'm hoping you can see some of this anyway. I just played. So I'm just going to do a little, kind of like a, oh, what's going on? Like a walkthrough of some of the pages. And if you've got any questions, this book is falling apart. If you've got any questions, then please just shout, and I will just stick a comment in the, I don't know which way this works. What is this one? In the info bar. I don't know which way that goes. In the thing below the video on YouTube, and then I will, or if you're on my blog, just leave a comment, or on Google, wherever. I'm everywhere, and I'll, you know, try and do a little, I can either do a video on some of the pages or just, you know, give me a shout and I'll try and remember, because this was 2 years ago. So, I think I should remember most of the, you know, the products used and stuff. Some of it's got paint in it. Like, I painted her, but a lot of this is like Distress ink, and which is why it bleeds so well. And it is just a case of playing around with backgrounds. This one, and the reason the pages went a bit funky, is because I used some of the Crackle paint by Tim Holtz. I love that stuff. I love him. Don't tell my husband. I do. He's awesome. Obviously my husband is. But I was talking about Tim Holtz. Anybody who's in the craft industry knows Tim Holtz. If you don't, you need to know who he is, because he really has some very cool ideas. So this was another one of his stamp sets, and I kind of partly embossed, well, I embossed some of the stamped images, and yeah. This one, I don't want anybody to freak out about this guy. I actually drew him as well. My husband went through a very, very traumatic time a few years ago, and we nearly lost him. So this is kind of like an ode to life, because this is the, oh, I can't remember the name of it, and please tell me what it is, if anybody remembers what the name of it is, but is it Mexico where they actually celebrate the life of the dead? I can't, is it called Day of the Dead or something? And I absolutely adore it. I've got some of these, you know, not these ones, but obviously, but some of the little skulls in my craft room, so it's kind of like an homage, is that the right word, to him for still being here and putting up with me. Yeah, I kind of knew where I was going with this, but I haven't actually finished it. Oh, sorry. Oh, where am I going? She's kind of like that. Looks a little angry on camera, actually. That's kind of weird. These are my twins. So, art journaling is not about, you know, oh, let's turn this guy around as well. Art journaling is not about, like, being a full-on, you know, what I would call a proper artist. I think it's just whatever you're feeling. If you're, you know, it depends where your emotions lie, and if art journaling is the way that you want to get those emotions out, then that's what you need to do, because, you know, life's tough. Life is life. It's just, it's always going to kick you down when you really don't need it to. But anyway, that's a story for another day. Right, just really quickly, because I can't remember this off the top of my head. This is just tissue paper, and all I did was I used some really, really cheap, like Poundland cheap, PVA. You could use Mod Podge or something like that, but I covered the front of the cover. This is the watercolour pad. Scrunched up the, what's this stuff? Tissue paper, and then just kind of not flattened it, but flattened it enough, because obviously you need all the like crinkly bits, so you don't want it too flattened. Let it dry, and then I actually used India ink all over it in different, like, I just literally dropped it, and what it does is it just moves into all the little, it's almost like little mountains and valleys, or it's kind of like a, it almost looks like the inside of a body. Do you know what I mean? Like little capillaries and veins and stuff like that. Anyway, let's see if I can get up a bit closer. I did spray some like an iridescent thing on it, but I don't know if you can see that very well. Oh, so journal number 2. And if you're still here, well done. Because I do, once I start talking, I can't stop. Yeah, I try to use on this, this will make you laugh, I try to use, what's that stuff, like polyfiller type stuff, as an embossing paste. Did not work. Just saying, didn't work. This was kind of a throwback to my childhood, and basically I used 3 primary colours, and my fingers, finger painting. And this middle bit is a combination of all three colours, so I thought that was kind of neat. And then I just used a palette knife just to create some form of art. This is actually, I drew this, and this is actually in honour of my my beloved little, well, oh, I can't even say it, my fabulous brother-in-law. We lost him a little while ago, and it's basically a cancer cell and a little homage, which I won't read because that's kind of personal. You might be able to see it anyway, but it's not an homage, but it's kind of like a appeals to cancer. So yeah, I was obviously a bit quite angry at the time. Hence the darkness. This one, I've got like a foam kind of thing, and this foamy little image, I don't know if you can see that, it's actually orange. It's like a bright orange underneath, and I just used some ink and that to cover it up. Used some stencils and just did some what do you call this? What's that stuff called? Texture paste. And then the reason I had this page kind of like this, but without the birds, I had the stenciling and all that done. And my husband and I actually watched a movie called Hummingbird, so I decided, oh, that's what I'll do with this page. It's a silly thing, but you know, it reminds me of him. I'll get my hair out of the way. Yeah, not sure. We're just going to leave it at that. Emotion. This is using my, what were these? Oh, these, the pastels that I've got. They're the portfolio pastels, and they're very cool because they're oil based, but they're water soluble. Very cool to work with, got to say. Oh, look at that shimmer. Yeah, this is the kind of stuff I draw. Like when somebody says to me, oh, can you make me a card, I go, shit, panic. Don't always know what to do, and I just swore on TV, I didn't mean to. But when I just kind of draw, this is the kind of stuff that comes out of me. So, you know, it's just kind of weird looking, but I like it. And again, it was like an emotional thing. This is double page. I just want to go a little quicker, sorry guys. There's kind of a lot going on here. This is kind of like old-fashioned decoupage. You know, the kind where you actually cut things out of magazines and then overlay it onto whatever it is you're doing. You know, like true decoupage, not three-dimensional. That's kind of an arty, what do you call it, crafty kind of thing. Whereas true decoupage is this sort of thing where you, yeah, true decoupage. We can talk that out another day. And then the sort of title of the page, if you like, is kind of, the words are all over the place. So, and this, I'm very proud of this. I'm not an artist, right, in the sort of true sense of the word, which I'm not, and I'm okay with that. But like when I was a kid, stickmen were what I could draw. But this, oh my god, I bought a manga book, and I was like trying to teach, I'm still trying to teach myself to draw. So I had all these pages where I'd practice all this, like trying to make my own sprays for my pages. And check it, I copied it. I didn't trace it. I thought that was pretty cool. Don't get me wrong, she's not perfect, like her hands are a little weird and all that fun stuff, but man, I did that by myself. So happy. Oh, let me just open this again. Anyway, and then these are some pages that I've just kind of prepped because I was testing out some sprays and stuff. And I'll show you how I've made the paint, Janine? Sprays. I'll show you how I've made them and what I used and all that. If you guys want to see that. I'm always looking for sort of hints and tips and ideas on how people make things like their homemade sprays and things like that. because sometimes it can get a little pricey, so it's nice to know if you can do this, you know, still make this a really cool hobby, but have it be manageable money wise, if that makes sense, because otherwise it can get pricey. Just ask my husband. Anyway, that's it. There's 2 journals, mini walkthrough. Hopefully it's come out somewhat okay, and like I say, the previous video that I referred to this video in will be up before this one, so if you're watching this one, go back and watch the other one, which sort of shows how I sort out my go-to craft paper stash, whatever I'm calling it. Anyway, it's a bit of an organisational type video, a little bit. Anyway, have a great day, guys. Have a blessed day. Be kind always, and seriously, if you want to get into art journaling, it is the best thing I think I've ever done as far as art goes, because it's a way that I can get my emotional blurb out without words, and sometimes that's what you need to do. Sometimes it's just a case you don't necessarily want to say anything, you just want it to get out of you. So seriously, brilliant. Have a great day, guys. Bye.